This is our first weekly recap for RPGaDay. Now, I can't possibly mention everybody. So what I'm going to do is take a look at the questions for each day and give you a sense of what I thought were some of, or maybe the best response, just in my opinion, remember, for that day. Now, if you're looking for other responses, well, it's easy to find them using the hashtag RPGaDay and your favorite search engine, or the search engine provided by your social media network, such as Twitter or Instagram or Facebook. You can easily find everything that's been tagged for RPGaDay. Or you can also check out our galleries at BrigadeCon.org. So, let's begin. The first week of questions covered things like dice, your best game session in the past year, a character moment you're proudest of, or an amazing thing someone else's character did. What stories do people tell about things that you've done in character? What's the most amazing thing you've heard about a game group doing for their community? And finally, what aspect of RPGs has had the biggest effect on you? There were pretty impressive answers in a variety of formats from all over the world in lots of different languages. So, which ones stuck with me as I did my best to crawl through and read and watch as much as I possibly could? Well, let's start at the beginning with dice. Many people felt this question was a no-brainer. Dice apps, or diceless, how do you prefer to roll? In fact, the wording of the question implies dice. However, although most people seem to expect that it would be dice that would win the preference award, the truth was a little bit different. Even though there were tweets like from Danny at Imperial Scum, who said, "Day one, real dice, rolled on a hardcover rulebook. That sound just makes me happy. Got to make that my ringtone." Well, I can certainly understand that expression right there. But many people, myself included, find that they use more than just real dice, and sometimes there are distinct advantages brought about by dice apps. They're just not quite there yet in the tactile sense. Dice still rule the day. If you want more proof, check out the video from Francois Letard on JDR-D30 for day one. It may convince you. Moving on to question 2, it gets even harder. There are so many interesting stories, cool stories, long stories, short stories, funny stories, dramatic stories, ones that make you want to cheer. But the one I'm going to choose is called Best Session, and it's by Riotous GM Games, filmed at the beach. And as you watch, you may expect Cthulhu to rise up from the waves, but unfortunately he doesn't. But this story is cool in that the game master who is speaking to you is recounting why the session was special to them from the game master's point of view, what they had learned by watching another experienced GM. So there's a shout out to Rob the Swamper Davis, and it's this kind of thing, this kind of interactivity, this connection, this acknowledgement of the help of others that I think is a big part of RPGaDay. And so for that, and plus the story is just cool all by itself, Riotous GM Games gets the nod from me for video for question 2 that I enjoyed the most, and hope that other people will watch. Question 3 isn't any easier. The proudest character moment, the moment of which you were the proudest of the way that you role-played, or something along those lines. Well, one of the stories really made me laugh out loud. Another one, of course, resonated with me on a deeper level. I like stories of heroism, of altruism, so I'm torn between talking about Tim Harper's post and John Allen Large's post. And because I find I always end up going for stories of altruism, I'm going to switch it up a little bit and go for the one that made me laugh, because this week laughing was a good thing. So John Allen Large's question number 3, the character moment you're the most proud of, is definitely something that you should check out. It is a very funny tale set in the world of Conan. To keep up the challenge and the pressure, day 4 doesn't really get much easier, and the stories just continued to be cool. And there's a lot of stuff I'd like to mention, stuff from the complex game Apologist, for example. But the one I'm going to go with is from a channel that's totally new to me. And the channel name is Bankbar Como. And he refers to himself as Indie. And Day 4's answer is called Day 4's Answer and Introspection, wherein he gives us a very rousing tale of an exciting event at the table, performed by another player's character. But then, through explaining the context of that situation and his thoughts on it years later, we see the value of looking back over our history as gamers and game masters and becoming better at what we do. I really liked this answer. Day 5 thankfully got easier. I was expecting it to get even harder, but thanks to a cool video released on Day 3 by the Gentleman Gamer, it's very nice to see him back and vlogging regularly again. His favorite character, it turns out, spawned his video for Day 5, where he gathered together with his gaming group and just frankly asked them their opinions about him. And, well, it's worth the price of admission, that's for sure. Day 6 was much tougher for people to answer than it is for me to find responses that are awesome. Now, a lot of people had difficulty with this. Some people chose not to answer. Some people just honestly said they didn't really know anything, although they offered some suggestions. The question was, what is the most amazing thing that a group of gamers has done for their community that you know about? Now, there are some cool ones. Autocratik, the founder of RPGaDay, mentioned a 90-hour gamathon to raise money for the church roof, which is pretty cool. And other people have mentioned the marathon sessions that are done for Extra Life, which is an awesome thing. And, of course, a lot of people who are involved in the RPG Brigade felt that BrigadeCon is a pretty cool thing, which it is. Other people brought out the Bundle of Holding, which is also a charitable organization, and that's where I started to notice a pattern. It didn't seem like people had too many recollections of a group in their community, whether they were in it or not, doing things, as a named group, but lots of people are aware of things like Drive-Thru RPG's massive bundles for, relief in Haiti, for example, or the Bundle of Holding with its weekly multiple charities being supported. It seems like we as a group are thinking that our community is the world. And that's impressive. Unsurprisingly, the week ended up with question 7 on Day 7, the 7th of August. And this was the question, what aspect of role-playing games have had the most significant effect on you as a person? And there were a lot of pretty personal stories. Stories about overcoming paralyzation in social settings, and stories of realizing that you were a valuable and creative person. These are pretty fantastic gifts. How can I, from all of the submissions that were put forward, choose one? Well, I think I can. But to do it, I have to cheat. You see, I have to go with my heart and my head. My heart tells me to send you to Circo Ruckman's channel and have you look at his submission for Day 7. That's all I'm going to say about it. Just go and watch. My head, well, my head tells me that we should all sit down and watch the Day 7 entry from the Complex Games Apologist. Now, special mention's going to go out again to Indie's channel, but this one described the state of the modern and sometimes very lonely gamer, the one who winds up being a blogger with no game, or a vlogger with a YouTube channel and random actual plays and no real group to support them. The big hollow spot. And speaking about that very frankly, and how the desire to game can, well, bring about very important changes in who you are and what you can do, I think this video has a lot of value. And that wraps up the week. And I just want to restate that this recap is kind of a celebration. There were many amazing things that I read and watched this week. And the ones that I've listed here are just among them, ones that spoke to me pretty significantly during the week, spoke to me personally. And I hope that you will share likewise the ones that spoke to you. Let's go beyond our own personal reach within social media and share what others are sharing. RPGaDay is about expanding the awareness of all the positive things that make up our community. And that's, I hope, what this recap can be a part of, a celebration of the things that we shared this week. And so, in the spirit of sharing, 2 channels that I'd like to call out for being real road warriors this week. You know, I live in the future. I live on the other side of the earth of many of the people who contribute. And these 2 gentlemen always had videos ready to post, either just before or just after I got around to posting mine. I usually post mine while I'm on the bus on the way to work in the morning. So it was very cool, very supportive, and made me feel much less alone in this thing to see these videos appear right after mine. And so, to Mornblade Gaming and to William Dimmick Johnson, thanks a lot for being there, and I'll see you all with the next recap next week.